Alright, I'm going to talk to you about how much ridiculous gear I take with me to the woods. First and foremost, I'm going to get this set down so it's out of the way, but I like to carry my bow in by hand, and I like to have one hand free. So what I like to do is get all the gear that I'm going to need for the day in a backpack so that I don't have to worry about carrying a bunch of things. The reason I do this is in case you slip, you have something to keep yourself from falling or move branches or what have you. So generally speaking, I carry a lot of gear. So we're going to set this bow down and I'm going to go through the pack. And before I take it off and start talking about this is the Badlands Summit. I'm going to give you an honest review. The reason I like this thing is the reasons are numerous, but you need to understand I'm not paid or endorsed by Badlands whatsoever to talk to you about this. It's a product that I need. It's a product that helps me be successful in the woods, and it's the kind of thing I promise you, you get into the right pack for your style of hunting, Badlands has got you covered with all kinds of different options. Let me show you how I load this pack and how I carry the gear with me that I do. So I know it looks a little ridiculous, and I'm going to go through and explain everything to you. So I'm going to go through a bunch of scenarios of why I use the Badlands Summit the way I do. And there's so many features, I'm probably going to miss some, but I hunt in Alabama primarily. The bow season runs during the rifle season, and there are many times when I'm hunting in a scenario where I can have both with me. And I may be in a situation where I'll hang on to the bow until that buck has not presented a shot, then I'll reach for the rifle or what have you. But it's just an occasional situation, and I love having this rifle packed in on the pack just like it is. It's nice and sturdy and secure. This hood to the pack I can snap over like this. It's got 3 straps along the side, one down on the bottom, and there is actually a butt pocket right here that allows me to put the stock of the gun in. Comes out nice and easy. We're going to set that aside, and I do like pink. I'll put that back in towards the end. Now let's take a look at what else I've got here. Again, it may seem excessive, but I'm giving you a worst case scenario. A lot of the tree houses or the shooting houses we have on the lease here have one chair in it, and many times I'm hunting with my children or my wife or friends, and so a lot of times I need to pack along an extra chair. These 2 straps on the back allow me to add extra gear without it being in my way. So here I've got an extra sweatshirt and an extra jacket. We're going to set that right there. I've got a fold-out camp chair. If we're going to sit in a shooting house, it's nice to be comfortable. I'm going to move this chair out of the way, set it right there. As we move down the pack to the bottom, you've got 2 big straps right down here and nice heavy-duty clips. Pop those open, and here in a cold weather scenario I've got bibs. Now I've got all these extra clothes. I happen to sweat a lot, so I don't like to wear all my clothes during a long walk into a shooting house or a tree stand. So I pack in as much as I can, wear as little as I can on my person before I keep moving. So now we're going to dig into the Summit here, and those are a couple of the outside features I really like. You've got the side straps for the rifle. You've got that on both sides. And let's look at this side. I've got a bottle of Scent-Away spray. Because I sweat so much, I like to spray down on occasion while I'm in the stand, and I just kind of try to keep the scent at a minimum. Now we're going to go into this back pocket here. Let me clip these up for you so that they're kind of out of the way. There's this really nice handy storage pack right here, and it goes down so far it's got webbed sides so that it won't open all the way. In here I like to keep a flashlight, a couple extra bullets if I'm using the rifle. That spot is totally open right now, which is nice. I'll use that for something else. In here I keep a single screw-in step in case I need to add some hooks to a tree or whatever. Very handy thing to keep. Garbage bag, and I also keep a small bag of ibuprofen in case I get a headache or I'm not feeling the greatest. So a couple things I keep, and that's relatively easy to get to. Let's zip that up. Now we're going to move to the front of the pack, and this is something that I find very handy. As I'm wearing this, it has a couple pockets on the belt, and that's what holds this thing to your hip so all the weight's not on your shoulder. We'll start on this side, and a lot of times I'm checking cameras as I'm walking to a stand, so it's a place where I can keep my SD cards. I've got a few sets of extra batteries in here in case I need to reload that camera, and then I've got a pull-up rope. Anytime I'm in a tree stand situation where there's not a rope, it's always good to keep one handy. You just never know when you're going to need it. So that's on one side. Easy to get to. I don't have to take the pack off to get it, and I think that's important. The other side, another one of those things that you just never know you're going to need, but it's always handy to have real close by. I keep my Wicked handsaw and a set of hand pruners within arm's reach, because many times you're climbing a stand, there might be a branch that fell or that bent down, it's in your way. If you have to trim something to sneak through the woods, I keep those at the ready, and it's something that's served me well over the years. So that's one of the things, a couple things I keep on the belt. I promise you those are the types of things you want to keep handy. So as we go to the interior of the pack, this is what I call the hood. It's got two connections up towards the top here. You can see that kind of keeps it nice and in place, and that kind of holds everything down that you've got on the pack. And we'll pop this free. That flies over just like that. And here I got my Ozonics. That's a product that I've used over the years, seen a lot of quality results from. We won't go into that, but that's a nice place to hang it. It's one of the first things I set up when I get in the tree, so I don't have to dig into my pack to get it. We'll slide that over the back here. Now, as you go into this, it's kind of got, the pack has this roll top. Opens up nicely like that. Nice big long quality zipper. And there's all kinds of things that you got to keep here. Now this very first little pocket right here, I keep an extra release. As you can see, I use the thumb style release. It's not attached to my wrist, and I'll tell you what, more times than I care to admit, I've dropped that as I've gotten set up for the day. Keep an extra orange vest. Rattle bag if it's that time of year. Not always, but if it's that time of year. Stocking hat, face mask. Extra safety rope once I get in the stand for my safety harness. I do carry my rangefinders in here, and the reason for that is if you're wearing them around your neck, I found these straps and clips will break if you bump against a tree. A couple bottles of water. Of course, toilet paper. We all know why we keep toilet paper handy, and I have a few baby wipes in there, and trust me, if you get into a situation where you need this, you're going to be glad you have it. I always take that. Digging down a little bit deeper, I've got just an 1.5-inch nylon web strap. These things come in super handy. And again, I'm kind of keeping things on hand that I may need. I don't use these all the time, but it's the type of thing that having it is really important. So keep a couple of those handy. And then we get down to my little accessories pack here. If I'm going to add some deer urine or estrus to a scrape, I've got little packages for scent wicks, things like that. But what I keep in this little thing is critical. I don't care if this makes me a sissy. I like gutting deer with gutting gloves. I always keep a few of those handy. Couple knives, just keep a few in there. I shoot the nocturnal nocks, and so I keep this little pin so that I can turn those nocks off after I shoot. Otherwise it's going to run for hours, and that's how you kill the battery. So I keep that handy. And this is really the secret here. I don't tell a lot of people this, but it's a good tip. I've got 2 crescent wrenches. And I've got a handful of miscellaneous bolts. These are for tree stands. I can't tell you the amount of times I've climbed in a stand that's been up for a year or 2 maybe. Straps are still good, but you'll notice that the bolts might be rusty or loose. So I keep those crescent wrenches handy just for that purpose, and if you ever get into a situation where a bolt needs to be replaced, I've got extra bolts. Now we're going to go ahead and pack this thing back up. So extra accessories, slide all the way in, rangefinders, water, don't forget that, blaze vest, rattle antlers or rattle bag, safety harness. Now I'm going to close that up, kind of pull it out like this, and I'm going to roll it backwards. And the reason I do backwards is so that you can access that zipper. And there's going to be air that fills up in there, so alright, another thing I'm going to mention, right on the back here there's a port where you can put a camelback, so you can carry water inside this pack. Alright, so that's how that goes. Now there's two other pockets I'm going to show you here. This big long pocket on the side, I keep grunt calls, bleat calls. I've got an extra knife in here. I keep extra knives for a reason. Lots of room. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. This is an important one. On the other side, I keep my easy hanger for my bow and my gear strap that goes on the tree. Now this strap is what I hang the pack on once I'm up in the tree. Obviously you screw that in, hang your rifle or your bow up. And I keep those on the outside of the pack so that I can get to them without having to dig in the bottom of the pack. If it's early morning or something like that, that gets to be frustrating. So now we're going to load this thing back up. And one thing I want to mention, a lot of what I do when I'm bow hunting by myself in a shooting house, I like to film. I run a camera, a tripod. Now obviously I'm not going to put that on the pack because it's actually shooting this video. But I can fit a camera in here nicely, and I can fit the tripod right on the back of the pack here. So you can use your imagination. If I was to use a tripod instead of a chair, maybe I wanted to take a camera tree arm. It's a little bit awkward, but you can strap that right on the back. So let's grab this chair. Just like that. And you kind of put that right in the middle. Extra hooded sweatshirt, extra jacket. These straps are nice and long. The clips are heavy duty, which is nice. It's going to endure the abuse that a deer hunter is going to put your pack through. Alright, so I've got that good and tight. Take these coveralls. Set that like that. Really easy to put these on here. Again, heavy duty clips, nice straps, get those nice and cinched down. The less you have wobbling around, the more comfortable your pack is going to be. Alright, so that's on. Move back up here to the top. The ozonics will slide right over just like that. And I can take this hood and secure everything down. Clip and clip. So that's all nice and sturdy right there. Again, large amounts of gear, packing as much stuff as you can possibly fit on your pack may not be exactly what your thing is, but what I'm going to tell you, if you do carry a lot of stuff with you, Badlands is going to have you covered with all kinds of scenarios, different options. And I promise you, being able to take what you need for an all-day sit, being able to take what you need to take your kids hunting with you, you've got to have stuff. So it's nice to have the kind of pack you can rely on, that's going to be durable, it's going to withstand the kind of abuse that a deer hunter puts it in, and it's going to be with you for a long time. I'm going to get the rifle put back on here. Roll the pack up on its side. Very easy. I like to have the scope on the back of the pack so it's not hitting my elbow. So there you have it. Looks like a lot of stuff, and it is. But if you get into a situation where you're going to be hunting for a full day, taking your kids, you want to be comfortable. And that's really important. Alright, so the belt, and the nice thing about these belts is they're built for bigger guys. So if you've got a little bit of a belly like I do, you've got extra room, cinch that down. This is a really important part to this pack. It'll pull it across your chest, keep it nice and tight. And that's adjustable too. It slides up and down to fit your body. So as you can see, it's a lot of gear. But as a whitetail hunter, sometimes you got to take what you got to take to film, to keep your kids busy, to keep yourself busy, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure what you have is a necessary item. You don't want to be stuck without it. This pack was not designed with the whitetail hunter in mind. It's more of a mountain pack, a big game hunter's pack, and it's ideal for that. But I've found a great use for it in the whitetail world. It allows me to carry a bunch of stuff very comfortably. Hardly even know it's there. Well, that's not true. You know it's there, but it's comfortable and you can carry it for a long distance. So that's my review on the Badlands Summit look it up. There's actually a lot of other packs for different types of hunting scenarios. And I can tell you, if you get the right one, you're going to get what you need to and from the woods real easy. You're going to do it comfortably. And that's the most important thing. There you go.